What's up? Ty Crandall with Credit Suite here. Today we're doing a brand new training and we're talking about how to get credit lines for your business. So we're going to talk about a bunch of options today when it comes to credit lines. We're going to talk about credit lines you can get when you just cannot get a normal bank loan. We're going to talk about credit lines you can get as a startup business. We're going to talk about credit lines you can get even if you have credit issues. So hey, welcome. I appreciate you coming in today. So today's all about credit lines. Today's all about the easiest way. There it is. That's that super heart thing. I love that. Super heart thing. That's awesome. That's wicked. You got to love Periscope for that. Hey, what's up? Getting educated. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for the loves and thank you for the super love things. Those things are the coolest thing ever on Periscope. Hey, welcome. Thank you all for coming in. So today we're talking credit lines. We're talking about how to get credit lines for your business even when you can't get money at a bank. We're going to talk through a bunch of different options, whether you're a startup, whether you have credit issues, those type of things. Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you coming in and joining in today. So today we're going to talk about a bunch of different ways you can get credit lines, even as a startup, even if you have credit issues, even when you can't get money to bank. Hey, listen, if you have credit issues, some of these might not work for you. If you don't have collateral and don't have cash flows, some of these might not work for you, but some of the others might work for you. So let's dive in. Let's talk about how to get money for your business through 6 different kinds of credit lines. I want to talk about here is called an SBA cap line, and this is actually 5 different credit lines, really, because SBA has 5 different kind of cap lines that they provide where you can get loans or credit lines up to $5 million for different industries and for different purposes. Okay, so that being said, this is a really good program for anybody that might meet SBA requirements. Now let's look at these actual different credit lines that SBA has. So they have a bunch of different ones depending on exactly what it is you're trying to do. So the contract loan program, for example, is for contractors, subcontractors dealing with purchase orders. The seasonal line of credit program is for a buildup of inventory, accounts receivable, or labor material. So this really has to do with if you have a seasonal business that'll work really well. The builder's credit line is just that. If you're dealing with contractors or if you're in the construction industry, this is a specific credit line that can work for you. And the working capital line of credit, this is for just about anybody. And again, you can get approved for $5 million. Short-term working capital works for most different kind of purposes. Now, keep in mind, the cap lines are an SBA program. So if you have credit issues, if you don't have collateral, those type of things, this is harder to get than some of the other ones we're going to talk about. A2 Intel Soul, welcome. Thanks for coming. You breathe life back into me. Awesome. It's great getting educated. Thank you for all you do. And I love your screen name, Getting Educated, because that's what it's all about, is learning and applying what you learn. So I think that's awesome. So look, SBA has cap lines that are awesome. They work as loans or they work as credit lines. You choose what you want. The loan amounts are small, 5, 10 grand, all the way up to $5 million in most cases. Jerome Belcher, welcome. It's good seeing you here. Great program to go to if you qualify. These are the hardest kind of credit line we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about ones that are much easier. What do you need to get approved? I'll show you exactly what you need. I just want $2.5 million in small bills. Perfect. That's going to be a big stack. The loan checklist with SBA, you're going to have a good background in your industry. You're going to have financial statements that are pretty strong. Profit and loss showing you're making a profit, projected financials. Okay, you're going to need to show your income tax returns. They're typically looking for profits here on your tax returns. A resume that shows you have experience in your industry. And that's basically what it really comes down to. So these are harder to qualify for because with SBA cap lines, you have to have good credit on the personal side. You're going to probably need collateral and you're going to need cash flow per tax returns. One of the harder of the 6 type of credit lines we're going to talk about today, but if you have good credit, if you have consistent revenue and good tax returns, and if you have collateral, it's a great way to go. What if you don't have those things? Well, that's when we talk about the second kind of credit line, which is alternative credit lines. Alternative SBA credit lines, these are just what they sound like. They're alternative to normal SBA. And that means that these are done through private investors. So you don't have to go through conventional banks. The first credit line we looked at, which is 5 different kind of cap lines, these are harder to qualify for because you're going to qualify through the conventional bank and you're going to qualify for SBA. But alternative SBA credit lines are done through alternative investors. So their guidelines aren't as stringent as they are with SBA. Now with this option, you do need good personal credit. And it's easier to qualify for than SBA, but it still gives you super low rates, about 5 to 8%. So a great alternative to primary cap lines because you don't through the rigorous process, and thank you guys very much for the hearts, I love it. You don't have to go through the rigorous process that you have to go through for SBA. We all know, hey, Customer Service LLC, I always pronounce your name wrong, thanks for coming in. So SBA is harder to qualify because you have to qualify with the bank, you have to qualify with SBA, you have to double qualify. But alternative SBA lines, you don't have to. They're alternative to SBA, they're done through private investors. So what's happened is you've got a lot of private investors out there that go, hey, SBA's losing a lot of deals because their requirements are too stringent. So what we're going to do is give credit lines that are similar to SBA credit lines, but they don't have as stringent requirements as what SBA credit lines do. So these are easier to qualify for, and what they're primarily looking for most of these credit lines is two different things. They're typically looking for good personal credit, 680 score or higher, and they also still want to see tax returns that show that you're making some kind of profit. That's the main thing. If you have pretty good credit and are showing some kind of profit, you can typically get an alternative SBA credit line, whereas a normal SBA credit line itself would require a lot more to get approved, a lot more qualification, and alternative SBA, the rates are pretty similar to what you're going to get with SBA. So both of these that I just talked about, well, 6 so far, right? Because SBA has 5 cap lines, and we just talked about alternative SBA, they all require good credit. What if you don't have good credit? What if your credit is kind of shot? Well, then that's when this next one is really going to come into. Now, this is one of several we're going to talk about that doesn't care about credit, and it's called cash flow financing. So with this, it's basically based on your revenue, and even you can start at about $20,000. So if we come over here, and I have all new boards, so I'm getting familiar with what's going on. With cash flow financing or revenue lending, you can get financing for about 10 to 12% of the revenue of your business. Okay, you don't need good credit. Credit doesn't matter. There are no collateral requirements. You can get the funding really quick within 72 hours. All you need is to be in business 1 year and have $10,000 a month in revenue. That's it. They're going to get 6 months bank statements. If you've got 6 months bank statements with good deposits, good bank management, you can get approved. But what a lot of people don't know, it's kind of secret in the industry, is that some lenders actually also offer credit lines. So instead of just getting a cash advance where you have to pay back a daily rate or a weekly rate, there are also lenders that will offer a credit line alongside the loan. So you come in, you have $20,000 a month in revenue, they give you a loan just based on a review of your bank statements, based on your revenue. That's it. Your personal credit doesn't matter. It can be shot. You can still get approved. Your collateral doesn't matter. You can have none and still get approved. But what they'll also do is if they like the deal, if they look at you as lower risk and you've got really good bank account management and have time to touch on the Patriot Express program, sure, we might talk about that here after we get through these credit lines. So if you have really good bank account management, then what happens is you can also get approved for this credit line. They'll give you a loan and then they'll also give you a secondary credit line. Okay, so hey, awesome, welcome, Jan, thanks for coming in. So what happens is, first of all, what they've realized is that people get these cash advances and then they go to another source and get a second cash advance. So what the lender's doing to try to stop that from happening is they're now going to give you a loan and they're also going to give you a secondary credit line. Now what's awesome about this is one of the only credit lines you're going to find out there that's not credit based. You don't need good credit to get it. You don't need any collateral to get it. All you need is $10,000 a month in revenue and 1 year in business to get approved. Now, if any of this makes sense to you and somebody says approved for Amazon for $2,500, no personal, we're going to be diving and talking back about business credit later. Go to our website, creditsuite.com/get funding. No dash in between, just creditsuite.com/get funding. We can get you approved for any of these. You can also always give us a ring at 877-600-2487. We can get you approved for any of the credit lines that we're talking about today. So the fourth type of credit line is my favorite credit line. You're going to love this one. It is one of the best that you'll never hear about unless you're watching this scope. It's called unsecured business financing. You can get up to $150,000 even as a startup. No doc, no tax returns or bank statements, 0% rates, and you can get approved even as a startup. This is my favorite kind of program, and here's how it works. You get up to 150 grand. You get about 5 to 8 times the amount of the highest you have now. Getting educated, my favorite too. You get 0% rates for 6 to 18 months. And you get credit line cash out capability. This is like a hybrid program. You get the benefit of a credit card with 0%. You get the benefit of a credit line because you could take the cash out. So you can get 150 grand in cash at 0%. That's unheard of. This is the only program that exists that allow you to do that. You're basically getting 5 to 8 credit cards or with credit line capability. What's the difference between a credit card and a credit line? Well, credit cards, you can get 0%, and you can take out the cash. With this, you get both. It's awesome. And some of these cards report to the business credit reporting agencies. So you actually are building your business credit as well as getting money. If your credit score isn't high enough, which you need a 680 for approval, then you can use a guarantor that has good credit as well. Yes, this one is linked to your social security number. You need good credit to get it. You need a personal guarantee, unlike with business credit, which we oftentimes talk about. But this can help expedite your business credit building because they report to the business credit reporting agencies. You can get approved as a startup. You don't need any cash flow verification or credit. You don't need any cash flow or collateral requirements. And there's a 9 to 12% fee is what the lender's going to charge. So this of credit line, it is the best that exists. And I'll tell you why it's the best. First, all the other credit lines require some kind of income verification. You need tax returns or bank statements. This one has none. It's no doc. You can get it as a startup. You can get it as a startup because it's no doc, which means you don't need tax returns or bank statements to show you've been doing business so you can get approved. You don't need any collateral, unlike with the SBA loans that we talked about earlier. All you need is good personal credit. And if you don't have a 680 FICO, talked about earlier. All you need is good personal credit. And if you don't have a 680 FICO, you can use a guarantor that does have a 680 FICO and still get approved. This is also one of the only credit lines that I know of that actually reports to the business. Awesome. You also build your business credit at the same time. And for most of you watching that follow on a regular basis, you already know what that means. Once those 5 accounts report and your business credit profiles and scores are established, then you can start getting high limit revolving credit cards without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. Now again, you can use vendor credit to do that, but this shortcuts the process and it lets you build your business credit while getting up to 150 grand as a startup, even with no doc, with no collateral requirements in the form of credit lines. Pretty cool. And again, it's 0% rates for 6 to 18 months, and you can take all the cash out at 0%. So you can get up to 150 grand at 0% for 6 to 18 months. And if your credit sucks, use a guarantor. Use a family member, a friend, a colleague, a partner. Any of those people will suffice as a 50 grand at 0% for 6 to 18 months. And if your credit sucks, use a guarantor. Use a family member, a friend, a colleague, a partner. Any people will suffice as a guarantor. Then you have enough reporting to go to store credit. Yes, you do. So when we talk about business credit building, I'm completely lost because all my whiteboards were just redone. So I'm trying to figure out where everything. To build business credit, the very second step, the third step you take is to get vendor accounts to build your initial business credit profile and score. If you went with this credit line option, we mark this off. You no longer have to do this step. You skip right to step 4 to start getting high limit store credit card accounts without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check. And again, these are some of our actual approvals that we see from people on here at Periscope. Somebody just told me today, just on this scope, that they just got an Amazon for $2,500. So these are the kind of approvals you can get without a personal guarantee or credit check once you start to build business credit. What's nice is this credit line helps you get up to 150 grand, no doc at 0%, and get the cash out. It also reports to the business credit reporting agencies, which helps you skip step 3 when it comes to building business credit, build your business credit faster, and start getting store credit, fleet credit, and cash credit even faster than you have before. So you can start getting all these kind of accounts without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. So my favorite of the 6 credit types of credit lines we're going to talk about today. The 5th kind of credit line is called securities-based credit line. And what this one is basically for, that has stocks or bonds. It's that simple. If you have stocks or bonds, and if you don't write it off just yet. I'll tell you a hack that can help you. If you have stocks or bonds, you can get as much as 90% of that advanced to you in the form of a credit line. Your personal credit does not matter. You do not need any cash flow for approval, and you don't need any collateral beyond the actual stocks and bonds that you're using. Looks like you keep the dry erase people in business. I do. As a matter of fact, I just hired somebody to come and do all my whiteboards for me, which saves me a ton of time and helps me educate you on more topics. So more cool stuff to come. So if you have securities, and if you don't, then maybe you have somebody else that wants to partner in your business that does. I think you should use a slogan, Ty the business credit guy. I like that. I've actually said that before. Marketplace 1000 received soon as I set up the account. Congratulations on your business credit approval with no personal guarantee. That's awesome. So a couple different success stories on here with us so far today. So again, what it comes down to is, do you have stocks or bonds? If you don't, then maybe you have somebody that wants to invest in your business that does. Maybe you can go to somebody like, I don't know, your aunt, for example. And maybe you say, Aunt, listen, here's the deal. I have this great business idea. She says, I love it. I've got stocks. She's willing to pledge that to get you a credit line. All of a sudden, you can get that money to fund your business. So even if you don't have stocks and bonds, it lets you listen for people that do have good credit to get the other credit line we just talked about, or do have stocks and bonds to get the credit line using their stocks and bonds as collateral. Thank you guys so much for the loves and the shares. Okay, so 90% of the stocks you can get. So if you have a $100,000 value of stocks or bonds, you can get 90%. Here's what's cool. You get a 5% interest rate. There's no credit requirements, and you still earn interest on the stocks and bonds. So you still get to keep the stocks and bonds, you still earn interest on them, and you get a 5% credit line using the stocks and bonds as collateral. A really, really cool program. So here is my number 2 favorite credit line. It just rolled out. We've been using it. We've got tons of people approved when they can't get any other kind of loan. It's called receivables-based credit line. This thing gives you an instantaneous approval, and not only that, but you fund nearly immediately in 24 hours. So you can get $10,000 to $100,000. Welcome. Oh, Ghetto Geek. It's the first day on Periscope. Welcome to your first day of Periscope, man. I'm glad you joined with us. That's awesome. 10 to 100 grand in the credit line. You could open up a brokerage account and deposit money in there, receive the 90% line of credit, then pull the money out. Well, they're still going to want you to keep the value of the credit line there, or of the stocks and bonds there. They're not going to allow you to pull the money out. Ghetto Geek, you're welcome, man. Thanks for coming. So it's a nice hack, but I wouldn't go to do that because they're going to know that you're going to pull that out and there's going to be restrictions. 10 to 100 grand. Here's a cool thing. Rates less than 1%. Rates on this program are 0.7% for every week outstanding. It's ridiculous. So if you take out $1,000 on this program, your payment's $50. It's crazy. The rate is 0.5 to 0.7% per week that you have the money outstanding. It's the lowest rate credit line or loan that exists, period. And it's a credit line you can get regardless of personal credit. Guys, there's not even a personal credit check with this. It's absolutely my new second favorite credit line. So less than 1% interest, funding in 72 hours. We see that in about 48 hours. Somebody's saying, how do we get one? I'll tell you 2 ways. First of all, give us a call. We'll talk to you more about it. 877-600-2487. You'll talk to our team. We'll help you go through the process to get approved. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. CreditSuite.com/get funding. If you go here, you can fill out a quick qualifier, and with that quick qualifier, we'll call you and we'll help you get approved. So all you need, I'm going to tell you what you need to get approved. You need, you don't need revenue at all. Okay, what you do need is you need receivables. So it's a 12 to 24 week payback. Very easy to qualify. So 12 to 24 week payback, less than 1% rate, funding in 72 hours. I don't qualify for any SBA programs due to criminal backgrounds as told by the local SBA. None of these other ones will do criminal background checks. So what I've talked to you about today is 6 credit lines. The first one, the 5 cap lines, that would be an issue. The other 5 wouldn't be. So if you miss this, go back and play it in its entirety and you'll get a bunch of different options where that won't be an issue. Okay, and also, that being said, don't do any criminal things moving forward or it'll get you into more trouble, as you already probably know. So that being said, let's talk about this. Here's how it works. Do you have receivables? Does another business owe you money? Does the government owe you money? If another business or another government, and Jane A. Mack, welcome. Okay, so thanks for coming in. I'm glad you're spending the first day of Periscope with us. So that being said, does another business or the government owe you money? If so, those are called receivables. Okay, and what that means is it means that, for example, you're my customer and you order from me and all of a sudden I don't get paid from you for 60 days because that's what we agreed to. I give you 60 days to pay. So that's receivables. That means I have receivables. I have people that owe me money. Well, what happens with this product is they actually will look at either your bank statements or your accounting software. It's an automated approval. It happens super quick. Like you get an instantaneous approval. They look at the receivables you have, then they make sure that the money is flowing through your bank account or your accounting software, and you get approved. When you get approved, you fund within 72 hours or less. We see people funding in 24 to 48 hours. What bill of lading count for trucking company? Would bill of lading work? It depends. It could work, yes. What it comes down to is they don't want you, can a foreigner apply? If you have a U.S. business, you can, yes, but not if you don't have a U.S. business. Everything I'm talking to you about today, you have to have a business, at least in the United States, to be able to get approved. Okay, so that being said, there is no personal credit check. So that being said, you can still get approved. You can get approved regardless of personal credit history, regardless of your collateral. Your cash flow does matter. Hello, Dr. John Morrow. Welcome. Your cash flow does matter because they want to see that you have receivables going through your actual bank account. So if you have receivables, accounting software, or bank statements, there's an automated approval. It's pretty quick, and in about 24 to 48 hours, you actually fund. Then you have a credit line, right? So you have, let's say, a $20,000 credit line is what you get approved for. You use it as you want to. Let's say you borrow $5,000. Then they put your payback terms over 12 to 24 months. You only pay a rate of 0.5 to 0.7% on the money per each week outstanding. So that's about the equivalent of $50 on every 1,000 borrowed. Super cheap payments, super easy to qualify. All you need is receivables. So we've talked about more than 6, but let's go through an overview of these 6 credit lines we've talked about to figure out which options may work. First thing we did was talk about SBA cap lines. There's 5 different SBA cap lines that are available. These require good credit and financials, but if you have it, you can get approved for up to $5 million. They even have credit lines for all different kind of special independent industries. So for example, if you are a construction industry especially, there's several programs that are made for contractors or people in the construction industry. Even if you're not, there's a great working capital credit line from SBA that you can get. And they also offer loans. So they offer loans or cap lines, but you've got to have good personal credit. You've got to have collateral and cash flow to get approved. Then we've got alternative SBA loans. You don't need collateral for these. You need pretty good credit, 680, not as high as SBA. You also need to have tax returns that show some kind of profit. Have you heard of a program called the HAF? I love the HAF. Yes, the HAF is a great program that offers a great funding product that we do recommend. So BHAF is another great place to get financing. Cash flow financing, another credit line most people don't know about. With this one, all you need is good revenue. If you have consistent revenue of 10 grand a month or more and been in business 1 year or more, they'll give you a loan. And then if they see that you manage your bank account responsibly, have a positive ending bank balance, don't overdraw your account, they'll give you a credit line as well that starts at about 20 grand. So you get 2, double whammy. You get a loan and a credit line with this program. Personal credit doesn't matter, and you don't need collateral. So great way to go. We're looking to purchase land soon, 107 acres for both our businesses. Keep you posted. Christine, congratulations. Let me know how business credit ties into that. I think that'd be awesome. Unsecured business financing, my personal favorite credit line. I love this one. I love it because you can get up to 150 grand in financing with 0% rates for 6 to 18 months. So you get 0% for 6 to 18 months and you get credit line capability, cash out. So you can get up to 150 grand even as a startup. They don't require bank statements. They don't require cash flow for approval. You can get it at 0% and take the cash out. This is the only program that exists that gives you a 0% rate for 6 to 18 months and lets you take 100% of the cash out. I said 6 weeks ago, where is the country? Okay, so anyway, I think we've got a troll. We might have to get rid of it, but we'll see. We'll have the person, but we'll see what happens here. We'll give him another shot. Okay, so I think we're going to have to get rid of the troll, but we're going to let you hang out and see how it goes. And we will be doing this for you soon, the 150 grand. In short, what is your advantage over big banks? Well, simple, pretty basic. 5 of the 6 you can't get at a bank. I can't make it any more simple. Big banks are great, so let's talk about it. You're saying, what is the advantage of what I'm talking about here over the big bank? Simple. Here's the big bank. Here's what you need to get approved. You got to have a personal background, completely clean personal background. You have to have make sense financial statements, which means you have to have personal assets to get approved at a bank. You need to have a statement of personal history, financial statement. You need to have profit and loss showing that you are generating profit. You have to have projected financial statements. You have to have an extensive business plan to get approved at a bank. You need to have good personal, business, and bank credit to get approved at a bank. Your credit score needs to be at least a 720. We've seen people denied with 780 credit because they got one derogatory item. You have to have a good bank credit to get approved at the bank, which means you need to have at least $10,000 to $70,000 in your bank account on average. You need to have excellent business credit at your bank with probably 10 trade lines or more to have a good DMB, Experian, and Equifax score to get approved at your bank. You would also need to make sure that you have a loan application history, so that they're going to want to see any other loans that you've had. You've got to have experience in your industry. You're going to need collateral for about 50 to 70% of whatever you borrow as well. So not too easy. My easiest thing, look, if you can get approved for a bank loan, go get approved for a bank loan. Go to your bank. If you do a lot of banking history with your bank, they'll probably give you the best terms over everybody else. But let's just happen to say that you're one of the rare people that doesn't have excellent personal credit, excellent cash flow, excellent collateral, excellent personal history, excellent personal financials, business financials, tax returns to show profit. Then all these other options will work when you just can't get approved at a bank. So that number 1 of 6 is basically a conventional bank loan. None of these others are offered from conventional banks. They do need a lot to give you big programs, find a way to get you the money you want. What I call this is the 3 C's of lending, guys. Big banks look at your weakness to get you approved. What I'm talking about is lenders that focus on a strength instead. Maybe your strength is cash flow. Maybe your strength is credit. Maybe your strength is collateral. If you have a strength, the ones I'm talking to you about today, you can get approved for. But if everything in your business is excellent, you have tons of collateral and great credit and bunches of cash flow, then go to your bank. Get one of these cap lines. It's a great option. Go directly to them. But if you can't get approved at a bank, any of these other ones make a lot of sense. So back to that unsecured financing program, my favorite of the credit lines. Get up to 150 grand even as a startup, something you'd never get at a bank. 0% rate, which you can't get at a bank. And get 100% of the cash out, which you can't get at a bank. And you get that for 6 to 18 months. You also can get 5 to 8 credit cards, which help you build your business credit at the same time. Yes, new boards look great. Working for you LLC, I appreciate that. It's because I didn't do them this time. And you either need a 680 credit score or a guarantor that has it. You can get approved as a startup. It's no doc. You don't need tax returns. You don't need to have bank statements either. So securities-based credit line, great if you have stocks and bonds. You can get 90% against those. Again, as we talked about, 5% rates, no credit requirements whatsoever for approval. And my second new favorite credit line that just rolled out, receivables. If you have receivables with the government or with another business, people that owe you money, you can get $10,000 to $100,000 at less than 1% rate, 0.5 to 0.7% rate, way lower than you'd ever see at a bank. Funding in 72 hours, typically in about 48 hours. You do need to have some revenue to qualify, okay? And that being said, it takes about 12 to 24 weeks for payback. Those credit cards, what would average limits be? I know you said that before, but Credit card, credit line, unsecured hybrid program, the limits are going to mimic your current limits you have now. So if the highest credit limit account you have now is 10 grand, they're going to get about 5 to 8 of those accounts, which is about 50 to 80 grand. And then most of those will report to the business credit reporting agencies, build your business credit, give you access to Visa, MasterCard credit that you could take the cash out on, physical cash, and take the cash out at 0%. So on this last credit line, as summary, you get it just if you have receivables. You don't need any other kind of collateral. You don't need to have good credit. You just need to have cash flow. They're going to look at your bank statement or accounting management software. It's going to be an automated, instantaneous approval, and then you fund in about 24 to 48 hours. I'm going to say 72 hours or less. Christine, no, thank you. So, awesome. We talked about 6 types of credit lines today, including cap lines, where we talked about 5 different kind of cap lines that you can get. Time frame to receive unsecured, 3 weeks or less. Unsecured, we have a great new funding source. What will happen is if you call us at 877-600-2487, 877-600-2487, then what we will do is we can talk to you. Do you have good personal credit? Yes. What's your credit score? You tell us it's high enough. We're going to send you right to our finance source. They'll get you a pre-approval within 2 hours or less. Highest limit of personal or business credit, consumer credit. They're going to look at the highest limit of consumer credit. Janie Mack, first day on Periscope. She's back with us. Welcome. They're going to look at your highest consumer credit card limit. And then what will happen within an hour to 2 hours, they're going to give you a pre-approval that will tell you exactly how much money you're going to get approved for. And then if you say go forward, then from that point on, it only takes about 1.5 to 3 weeks to actually get your money. Pretty fast. The other credit line we talked about today, if you have receivables, you can get your funding in 48 hours to 72 hours, and that's a working capital credit line. As you pay it down, you have access to more. So that being said, a hard inquiry, not when you qualify. What happens is our finance source will do a soft pull. So there is, in the highest is 25,000 limit. The highest I've seen is 50. The highest individual limit account I've seen approved is 50. And the highest amount I've seen somebody fund is 150. That's the highest amount I've actually seen somebody fund. From experience, that's what I've seen. And you can go to our website, creditsuite.com, and see actual approvals that will show you those as well. So, a lot of different credit lines we talked about today. Now, if you're interested in getting a loan or credit line, then reach out to us. There's a couple things you could do. First, a ring, 877-600-2487. That's our number. You can also schedule a consultation with us anytime at creditsuite.com/consult. If you want immediate approval, go to creditsuite.com/get funding. That goes right to our funding team. And then also, where's my Periscope link? You can also go to creditsuite.com/Periscope and get a free guide on building business credit, and creditsuite.com/scope to see all of our previous Periscopes. Somebody saying my highest 150 grand with this program, which is awesome. E-startup, no doc, no tax returns, no bank statement review. Guys, the fastest way to get approved is just to call us. 877-600-2487. My guys right here on the other side of this wall will answer the phone, talk to you. If it looks like you're good, they'll do a live transfer right to the funding source. They get you a pre-approval within 1 to 2 hours. You say, good, I'm in, let's do it. As soon as you get the docs done, it funds in about 1 to 3 weeks. When you get the actual cards, they teach you how to liquidate and get the cash out, which is pretty good. I just got personal credit on my 3,000. I should wait. If you're new, if you only have one credit card and it's new, I'd wait till it's about 6 months old to apply for the program. That's your best bet. So a lot of different programs we talked about today. If you're interested, get in touch with us. 877-600-2487 will get you approved. A lot more stuff to come. I told you new whiteboards, new topics. So over the next matter of weeks, we're going to be talking about the 5 biggest mistakes people make when building business credit. How to get set up with Dun & Bradstreet, avoid the $1,500 fee, get your Paydex score and DUNS number. We're going to be talking about how to repair damaged business credit, which we've never talked about before. And we're going to be diving back into the steps of building business credit, which you can see right here. We're going to talk more about getting loans, which you can see right here, and a lot of other cool things to come. So I really appreciate you chilling with me today. Hopefully you walked out with some information you now know that you didn't have before. We talked about credit lines you can get with no collateral, no cash flow, and no credit. So you've got a lot of different options to get money to fund your business. Show me the number to call. This was super awesome. Thank you all very much. I appreciate you. Here's how you get in touch with us. You can either schedule a consultation with our team, or you can just call us. Right here's our number. And then with that being said, we will be able to get you approved. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Give us a call. That's our number. I will not talk to you next week. I'm actually going to be out of town next week. I'm taking some time off to spend with my family over at Disney to enjoy the campgrounds over there. But the next week I'll be back and we'll be talking about a lot of cool stuff. Keep an eye on our Facebook page and we will always update you of the topic beforehand. And then we go live every Wednesday at 4 o'clock except for next week. I won't see you next week, but I will see you the week after. Thank you all very much for joining me. If you missed any of this, go back to Periscope. For the next 24 hours, you can see this scope. And we also put it on our website at creditsuite.com/scope and creditsuite.com/periscope. Let Lane do the scope. I'll do that. I might do that. I'll hit him up and see if he wants to do it. And creditsuite.com/periscope will get you a free guide on building business credit. You all rock. I love you. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in 2 weeks, Wednesday here at 4 o'clock on Periscope. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.